Hello and welcome to the weekly crypto review. My name is Ken Biles. The last couple of weeks have seen a huge drop in Bitcoin price. Bitcoin has dropped from its peak of, pull this down, its peak of about 13.8, 13.9, down to where it currently is at 95.20, 95.30. So we've seen a $4,000 drop in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. My advice is, don't panic. Now, before we get to that, if you like what you see, if you like what I'm doing, don't forget to subscribe, share the video with people who are interested, and if you want to support what I'm doing, you can go to cryptocurious.tv/support. Take Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and BAT, especially BAT. As you can see, I'm using the Brave browser. I absolutely believe in what they're doing. So let's get back to what we were talking about. When you look at the price of Bitcoin, and let's see if I can come back here. So we're going to take, whoops. Let's take this. This one is about the right place. So let's take a look back at the last bull run. So this is September, August, September of 2017. So if we draw, and I'm going to do it a little bigger as far as the left to right, but if we look at it and we look at where it went to, that right there, this part right here is a drop of 39.84%. So there's our 40% drop that I've been talking about. And this happens time after time after time. Let's see if we can find another one. There's one right there. Let's take it. And we're going to go from the top of the wick to the bottom of this wick right here. And that's a 30.1% drop right there. From here down to here, 30%. And this happened, this is a daily chart, so it happened, looks like the first one was August to September, and this one is November, so 2-3 months later. That's what a volatile market looks like. When you bring everything down so that you can more easily track, it makes these drops look much smaller than they really were. I mean, even now, if we look at today, if we keep the scale where it is, we look at it, and we're talking from here to here, it looks much smaller than when you're looking at it now. If we make it bigger, that looks horrible. That looks scary. That looks downright threatening. But if we draw our box, again, starting at the top of the wick, going down to the bottom of the wick, and I'm making the box bigger so that I can hit the lines properly. So we're looking at a 34.18% drop. So we're looking at, almost a 35% drop. Will it go below, that's 91.22? Will it go below there? Possibly. Let's see what a 40% drop looks like. So again, we go from the peak, and now we draw down to 40%. There's 40.05, and that is at 83.16. Let's see here. I guess we need to make this a little bit smaller. Again, we put on the drawing tool, and we draw down to the bottom of the wick, the lowest wick we can find. Actually, I'm sorry, this one we're doing 40%, so we draw down to 40%. So 40.09, which is about as close as I'm going to get here. So a 40% drop is 83.08. So 8,300 is a 40% drop from the top, which is about 13.8, 13.85. That we've already seen. That's not unusual. That is common. One might even say standard for Bitcoin. Could it go that low? It could. Will it? No one knows. Anyone who tells you they know where Bitcoin is going to go, how high or how low, they're guessing. That's all it is a guess. It may be an educated guess, maybe a very, very good educated guess. But we're talking markets. We're talking, you'll notice that everybody uses these candlesticks. These are formerly known as Japanese candlestick charting. And the reason that we use them is that if you learn about Japanese candlestick charting, you learn about patterns, and you learn that they will give you a good indication of the emotion of the market. Your job is to be a logical trader, not be an emotional trader. 99.99999, and I can go on forever, percent of retail investors, that's you and that's me, 99.99999% of them invest with their emotions. They invest up here, where, oh my God, it's going up. It's gonna go past 20,000. I need to get in before it does, or I need to, And then when it turns around and drops, they sell. Oh my God, I've lost money. You have not lost money until you pull your investment out. Anyone in the investment industry will tell you, any broker will tell you, that if you buy whatever, you buy a stock at $10 per share, and it drops to $5 per share, yes, you have a paper loss. On paper, you've lost half the value. But as long as you don't sell the stock, or in this case Bitcoin, it has the chance to go back up in price to where you bought it at or above where you bought it at. So you still have the opportunity to make money. You don't realize a gain or a loss until you actually sell the asset. Don't let this worry you. Don't let this drop of $4,000 or even more bother you. If this is bothering you, you've got too much money in the market. You should only be investing what you can afford to lose, what you are comfortable losing. The way I look at it is this money that I would feel comfortable taking to Las Vegas with me for a week? Because I know I'm not going to come back with any money from Las Vegas. So if this is money that I would take with me to Las Vegas, this is money that I can put into the market, stock market, bond market, crypto market, doesn't matter. And I will be comfortable whatever the market does. I know that historically, and again, every broker will tell you, that past performance is no indication of future performance of any kind, but my 30 years of experience in the investment industry has shown me that markets go through cycles, and that historically the current cycle ends up being higher than the previous cycle. I'd be very careful here because I can't guarantee anything. I can't say this is absolutely what's going to happen. I can't say I guarantee. This is not investment advice, and even if it were, I still couldn't say I guarantee. I can only tell you that my experience, this is what I have seen happen. So I am quite comfortable with this drop. In fact, I appreciate this drop. I am happy about this drop. This correction that we've had, this $4,000 correction that we've had in Bitcoin, is fantastic from my point of view, because it shows me that the market has strength and that the market is healthy. Corrections like this, where we drop from a high down, especially after we've had, let me see if I can make this a little, well, let me see here. We'll do it this way. You see this upward trend that we had. I mean, we had another, it was sideways more than down, but this sideways also was another indication of a healthy market. We went from the absolute lows down here in, at the end of December. We went mostly sideways. We formed that cup that people talk about. This is the bottom of the cup. But then we had this dramatic rise. It cooled off here for a few days. It rose again. It dropped down here. Okay, and then again, we had another dramatic rise. We had a parabolic rise. Parabolic rise of price is not healthy. it is a sign of an overextended market. And in fact, if you look here, I've got the RSI down here at the bottom. And if you look right here where it peaked, we were well above the 70 mark on this RSI. Okay, 70 says if it's at 70 or above, it's saying that this asset, whatever it is overbought. People are buying too much of it. If it goes down below 30, which is this line here, it's saying it's oversold. It's time for it to come back up. So by looking at this, so would I buy at when the RSI is above 70? Absolutely not. I'm going to wait for it to drop. Right now, we're at, where is it at? It's about, actually, it should say, I don't seem to have the numbers on my chart here, but it's probably about 45, between 40 and 45. So halfway down, that's not a bad place to buy. If it continues to drop, if the RSI drops down to 30, that's a fantastic place to buy. I'm not saying it's going to. I have no idea. But because it is down here below the middle line, which is 50, because we're going, roughly 0 to 100. If it's below 50, that to me signals that it's a good buy, if I believe that it is going to continue going in an upward trend. And I do. I absolutely believe that Bitcoin will continue up, not only to surpass the 11,800, but I believe it's going to go above its $20,000 all-time high at this point, and I believe it's going to continue upward. I'm looking for, and again, I can't guarantee this, but I'm looking for a six-figure Bitcoin. I absolutely believe that Bitcoin in this run, before this bull run finishes, which should be sometime between January and June of 2021, so we've got a year and a half, not quite 2 years left in this bull run, I fully expect that Bitcoin will be worth at least $100,000. I actually think it will be worth more. There are a lot of people on YouTube who are making predictions of $1 million Bitcoins. Some are being very cautious, saying, 40 or 50, maybe $60,000. That's great. Now it's your task to figure out who you believe best, who you think has the most information, has the best information, and do your own research. Figure out, look at what Bitcoin has done in the past, look at what Bitcoin's fundamentals are. When you're looking at buying stock, you look at things like, how old is the company? How long have they been around? Do they have a solid product? Do they have a solid company? Is the company well run? These are things you can't find for any cryptocurrency, really. I mean, some of them have companies behind them, but Bitcoin's it's got a foundation, it's got a bunch of programmers, but no one owns Bitcoin. No one runs Bitcoin. It is the most distributed ledger out there. So there's no one who can be called into court. There's no one who can be sued. So there really is no fundamentals like you would look for in a business, which is why people like Warren Buffett don't like it. They don't have any information that they're used to looking for to determine whether or not this is a solid investment or not. You'll hear bankers, Jamie Dimon and the others, the Federal Reserve, Steve Mnuchin, head of the Treasury, say that Bitcoin has nothing behind it. It's not backed up by anything. What they neglect to tell you is that the US dollar has nothing behind it. It's not backed up by anything except that your faith that if you give someone $1, they will give you $1's worth of value in return, whether that's a product or a service. That's the only thing backing up the US dollar and every other currency in the world. They're all fiat. They're not backed by gold, silver, or anything else. And let's be honest, what makes gold valuable? Well, it's scarce. Okay, but that makes it more valuable than it might be. But really what it comes down to, what makes gold valuable? It's pretty. That's really what drives any market, is that someone wants it. Someone is willing to give you value in exchange for it. There is no fundamental or physical law that says gold has value. The only thing that gives gold value is that it's pretty. It's shiny. It doesn't tarnish. No matter how long you have it or how rough you treat it, it will always have that pretty shine. And so that makes it valuable. What makes Bitcoin valuable? Well, the belief that whatever price you pay for it, eventually someone will be willing to pay you more if you want to sell it to them. That is the fundamental aspect of every market. Anyone who talks about intrinsic value has no idea what they're talking about, especially if they're an economist. Economists should know, they should have been taught, that intrinsic value is an obsolete term that hasn't been used in over 100 years. There is only market value. Market value is simply what will someone pay you for it. There is no such thing as intrinsic value. There is only market value. Currently, market value for Bitcoin is around $9,500. It's a discount from where it was just, a few weeks ago at 13.8? You hear people say, buy the dip. Buy the dip, buy the dip. And they'll point back to a dip like this. See, it dropped from here and it dropped down here and then went way up more. If you didn't buy this dip, you lost out. Well, this is what a dip looks like when you're in it. And it's emotionally very difficult to get beyond this idea that it's losing value. I don't want to buy because it's not worth what it once was. Well, okay. Do you believe that it will be worth that amount or more in the future? I'm not saying today, I'm not saying tomorrow or even next week, but in the future. Do you believe the price of Bitcoin will be worth more than the $95.27 it currently is? This is on Coinbase. Because if you do, then this is a good price to buy at. If you don't believe it's going to be worth more, if you think it's going to continue to drop in price, don't buy it. That is how investing works. You have to do your research. You have to determine for yourself, what do you believe the ultimate value of a Bitcoin is worth? And you don't have to have a fixed price. You don't have to have a set price. You just have to have a range. Do you believe the ultimate value of a Bitcoin is worth more than $95.25 that it currently is? If so, you're buying at a good price. If you believe that a Bitcoin is worth $15,000 or $20,000 or $50,000, then being able to buy one at $95.25, that's a steal. That is an absolute steal. You should go for it. If you believe that the ultimate value of a Bitcoin is worth less than $9,000, well, then it's overpriced and you shouldn't buy. This is how investing works. This is how everyone should be investing, but that's not how they do it. They look at it and say, over here, and say, it's going up, I need to buy. They buy and they buy and they buy, and a lot of times they'll buy way up here where this wick is. They'll buy at the top because it's been going up for they'll look at this entire trend and they'll say it's been going up since December, it's going to continue, and so they buy at 13.8, assuming that it's going to continue up, and then it starts to drop, and they panic because they don't know what they haven't decided for themselves how much a Bitcoin is really worth, and so immediately they start to sell because everybody else is selling. They see the price dropping, and so they sell, and they decide that's a bad idea. That was a bad investment. I'm never doing that again. This is how people lose money in the market. Don't be one of those people. Don't panic. Make your purchases with your intellectual mind, not your emotional mind. Put only enough money in that you're comfortable. If you lose everything, if you're comfortable with that, that's an amount you can afford to invest. Is this an amount that you would take to Vegas and put on the craps table and put up against a roll of the dice, whether you're rolling them or someone else is? If the amount is something that you could do that with, then that's an amount that you can be comfortable in investing. The biggest mistake most people make is they put far too much money into an investment at the wrong price or the wrong time from their point of view. They put it in here at this price and they watch it drop and they watch it drop and they watch it drop and they sell down here. So they bought it at 13.8 and they sold it at 9,090. And they say, I lost money. Well, yes, because they sold it. They lost money. So yes, they lost money. If they bought it at 13.8 and they sold it at 90, just over $9,000, they lost money because they sold it. If they bought it at 13.8 and they still got it, even at the current price of 9,500, have they lost money? On paper, they still have a Bitcoin that was once worth $13,800. It's now worth $9,500, a little over $9,500. So it's worth less than what they paid for, but as long as they keep it, as long as they don't panic and sell it, it has the potential to go up back to where it was and beyond. And if you've been watching this particular asset, Bitcoin, for any length of time, if you've been watching Bitcoin over the last year or more, you know that Bitcoin has the potential to be worth far more than 13.8. As long as you can not panic and sell, as long as you can continue to have faith that whatever price you have deemed a Bitcoin is worth, then you're good to go, and it should be a sound investment. Again, none of this is either financial or legal or any other kind of advice. This is simply my experience in this industry. This is what I've seen. This is what I've learned. And I'm simply trying to pass on some information. You have to determine for yourself, is this an investment that you are comfortable with? Are you comfortable with a 40% drop in price over less than a month? I mean, let's see here. This was, well, actually, yeah, June 25th, and we're looking at, July 29th, so just over a month. In the last month, it's lost $4,000. Are you comfortable with that? Are you comfortable with the idea that whatever price you buy at, it could drop 35-40%, and are you still willing to hold on to it with the belief that it will go up in price above what you paid for it and beyond? If you're not, don't buy. If you're not willing to see this price of $95.34 drop to $8,000, don't buy. If you're comfortable with the idea that your purchase of $95.34 may only be worth $8,000 tomorrow, and that's not an issue for you, you're comfortable because you believe it's going to go up and be worth far more than what you paid for it, then you're ready to buy. But this is, as I said, this is what the dip looks like when you're in it. It looks like it's dropping in price. It looks like it could go down forever. Based on the last month, see if I can find based on the last month, we are on a downtrend. Bitcoin is worth less money today than it was a month ago. If that frightens you, don't buy Bitcoin. If, on the other hand, you're comfortable with this drop and you're comfortable with the idea that even at this price it could go down further before it bounces back up, but you believe it's going to bounce back up and it's going to be worth more than what you paid for it, then this is a good value for you. This is something you should seriously look at. It really is up to you, and only you can decide what you want to do. I can't tell you. No one on the internet, no one on YouTube can tell you, buy, buy, buy. And they're all doing that right now. I mean, they're all saying, this isn't advice, but they're all saying, buy, buy, buy. Well, it really depends on how you feel about it. Can you accept a drop in price from $9,500 down to $8,000 or $6,000 or $4,000? If you can accept that with the security of your own mind that it will be worth more than what you paid for it at some future date, then it's an investment worth making. Anyway, this has gone on far longer than I wanted it to. I had really only planned to make a 5-minute video, but I like to talk. As I said, if you like what you see, be sure to subscribe. If you think that the content of this video is valuable to someone that you know, be sure to share. And if you'd like to support me, go to cryptocurious.tv/support, and I gladly take gifts of crypto, these 4 in particular. Anyway, that's it for today. I will be back next week with another weekly review. We'll see if Bitcoin is higher or lower than it currently is. We'll see you then.